Welcome to Better with Art. I'm Melinda, and I'm here to encourage you to reclaim your creativity and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care. This second video of Better with Art, I thought it would be good to look back at when we let go of perfection in our art journal with blind contour drawings. Let's take it a step further to not just let go of perfection, but embrace imperfection. Here's a look back to week 2 of the 52-week art journal journey and my not completely renovated kitchen that I wasn't quite moved back into. Blind contour drawings help train us to really look at an object and the lines that make it up. They're also near impossible to do perfectly, so we are going to use them also as a way to let go of perfection in our art journals. You're going to need some object with an interesting shape. I have chosen this glass flower that was a gift from my kids once when we went to the Corning Museum of Glass. You'll want something that has an interesting shape but isn't too complex. I've mentioned the contour part of the project, where we're looking at the lines and shapes and edges of the object. And now the blind part. We're going to draw this object without looking at our paper or our hands. And we're not going to raise the tip of our pen from the paper. If this sounds intimidating, don't worry about it. We're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to start with this bottom leaf, so I can outline the leaf and then down the stem and back up and try to get some of the details of the flower all at once. We have the line around the outside edge of the flower, and we also have the line on the inner edge and the stamen. You can pause the video and go find your own object and draw along while I'm drawing, or you can watch me first. So it can be really difficult to not look down at your paper, and it sometimes is difficult to not raise your pen from the paper. So I need to pick a spot that will give me some room. I've turned my journal horizontally because I'm drawing something long, and I'm trying to position myself where it's not easy to see my hand and paper. Let's move this out further. Your eyes are going to want to trace the edge of your object, or edges as I said. And you're going to want your hand to follow your eyes, basically. As I said, it will be impossible to get a perfect rendering of this flower, but it will be interesting. All right, let's see. Well, I got my lines a little crowded together, and my pen seems to have given up. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm going to try again with another pen, but I'm not going to take this out of my journal, because one thing in letting go of perfection is to accept the art that we make. All right, another pen. Let's see what this one does. Well, let's see what I do with this one. As you draw, and if you're drawing along with me, remember it's important to take your time, but also don't move so slowly that you just lose momentum. Follow the edges of the object with your eyes and Follow your eyes with your hand. All right, attempt number 2. Another interesting attempt. So when you have drawn your object, and preferably, I would like you to listen to this next part after you've drawn your object. Pause the video, draw your object, look at your drawing, and immediately take the time to write down what you think about this drawing. Some of you are displeased. Maybe you're embarrassed. But one of the great things about the art journal is you don't have to show it to anyone but yourself. Accepting your art is also accepting yourself. Look at what you wrote. I can imagine for many of you, there are some negative thoughts about your poor sketch, and that's okay. You may be surprised to hear me say it's okay if you had negative thoughts about that sketch. Don't reject those thoughts. Accept them. They are your original opinions of your sketch. As I've said, all emotions are valid and they deserve to be acknowledged. They're also temporary and change based on circumstances. Accept your negative feelings about your sketch, but we're also going to speak some truth by changing our perspective. Some of you may have been happy with your sketch based on the context. You drew a picture without looking at it. That was probably uncomfortable, but you did something that made you uncomfortable, and you should be proud of yourself for that. You also did something that is impossible to be technically perfect at. So in your next section of journaling, write about that perspective. If you didn't give yourself much grace with your sketch, give yourself grace now. If you're still struggling with that, how would you encourage a friend who had done this project and had the same results as you? Speak those affirming words to yourself. Be gentle with yourself, with your art. We are imperfect, and our art will be imperfect. If you came here expecting to improve your skills as an artist, that may happen, because practice makes improvement. But I'm not here to teach you about any particular style or technique. I'm here to encourage you to use art as a form of creative self-care. We're not as healthy when we're not creating. We're wired for creativity, created in the image of the creator. I hope you weren't too intimidated by trying blind contour drawing if you've never done it before. And I hope if you have done it before and hated it, you don't hate me for asking you to do it. I hope you have or will take the time to do this week's piece of small art and journal about it. First by being honest, and then looking at it through a more accurate lens, a lens made clearer with grace. If you'd like to have some more fun with this project, feel free to choose other objects and just layer them right on, but keep your original as a reminder to let go of perfection in your art journal. Do several renditions of the same object or choose several objects, keep layering them over each other. It will create a really interesting image. You can keep that image, or you can add colored pencil to make it sort of abstract stained glass. I'm going to keep my two original sketches since my pen decided to die on me for part of mine, and layer some blind contour drawings, then layer some more and color it. The blind contour drawing helps us look at something more closely. If improving your art skills is one of your goals this year, that's one you'll need. And we also need to regularly take the time to slow down and really look at things, because we can notice so many interesting things. Thanks for joining me for this Better with Art look back at the 52-week art journal journey. Be willing to just let go when creating in your art journal. Don't let what you hope to produce distract you from the process. Messy progress is still progress. Messy progress is good progress. Give a thumbs up if you are doing this week's project. Comment your experience. Subscribe to be notified of each video reminder to keep a weekly art date with yourself. And sign up to receive emails that extend the week's theme, as well as a link to join the private Better with Art Facebook group. Let's make perfectly imperfect art, because we are better with art.